Hello and welcome back. This is MC1 Gamer bringing you yet another Mordheim battle report. So this time I have again my dwarf warband with some enhancements, some changes. I lost my engineer in the last game. He was knocked out of action, but I managed to get another Thunderer back. And now I have two Thunderers that have ballistic skill 4, and those are going to be the two crossbowmen. The Thunderer that I have that actually has a handgun, which was my engineer, is just going to be the extra Thunderer. I now have an unpainted model here that is going to be considered, I have a beardling, and he just has an axe and a hammer. And he's really just fodder to try and screen for my close combat guys. And then I have these two guys with the two pistols are, just until I can replace them, they're going to be my troll slayers. One of them has actually got an increase from last game with a +1 to his initiative, which is nice because dwarf initiative sucks. That's my warband. So I actually grew my warband, but my rating is actually a little lower. And ratings can be pretty interesting because if you have a really low rating because maybe you're playing against somebody who's got a couple more games than you or has done really well, you actually get benefits. You'll get more experience points for survivors and the results when you go on the table at the end of the game. So I'm going up against this time the Carnival Chaos. So it's one of the players from the five armies game that we did prior to this, and he's got a mostly close combat list. So he's going to look to close. And this is the board. So we're using a similar board with similar layout. I'm positioned in a completely different part of the board, which I didn't even see from when I played previously. So it's almost like a brand new board for me. And in this case, we had you roll for a random mission. In this mission, you put kind of a token in all the buildings, and one of them is a treasure trove, and now we're all looking to get this treasure trove. So we're all looking to kind of get across the board, which is a challenge for dwarves because I don't move very fast. And every time you get into a building and you spend the action to search, you roll on 2d6. If you roll double sixes, you roll boxcars, you found the treasure. And then your goal is then to get that treasure off your board edge. And if you do, you win the treasure, and then you get to roll on the treasure chart, which is going to be really great. So if nobody ever rolls double sixes, the last building found with the token is going to be the one that has the treasure. So interesting scenario. So I deploy. You have to deploy within 12 inches of 8 inches of your table edge. So I deploy here where I could easily get up. Not only can I get up to get this token, but I have a nice perch for shooting with my crossbowman. One of the tokens was right in my deployment range, so I stuck this crossbowman here, and then I put these. The beardling and one of the troll slayers so that he can get across this bridge real quickly. And then this was kind of a mistake. I put one of my Thunderers so you can snipe from this position. But the mistake is that there's no ladder here, so I got to jump off. And if you jump off, you've got to take an initiative test, which sucks for dwarves. And if you do that, you fall and you take, I think it's die 3 hits per inch or something like that. Or you take some hits and you have a chance that you can take your own character out of action. So I have one of the troll slayers with my noble, and they're going to sweep off to the side. And then here are the Carnival deployment. So he's got henchmen, a bunch of henchmen, and I think he's got 3 or maybe 4 of his characters. One of which has this thing called Nurgle's Rot, which is one of the most feared things to have in the game because you can't get rid of it, or you can get rid of it. You got to spend a lot of coin to go get a potion that has a chance to remove it, but it can spread throughout your unit. So if anybody ever gets it, you kind of just got to kill off that guy and dismiss him. So he's positioned off in his table edge to try and tackle some of these objectives and trying to get into the buildings. He gets first turn, moves some of his guys up to do some searching. Nobody's getting any rolls. Hides a few of his guys behind some of these buildings, and you really got to pay attention when this happens because, again, it's very easy to hide these guys in a place where you won't realize where they are. There's a lot of little nooks and crannies on a good board. So it comes back to me. I move my dwarves up to try and hunt and try and search this particular building. And I want to have my guy. I don't want to have any solo guys walking up there in hand to hand. I don't have as many bodies as he does. And although I have good toughness, he could have 2 or 3 guys for every one of mine in hand-to-hand combat. So I'm hoping that I can cover these guys with some sniping from long range, and if he tries to move in to try and intercept me, or I can get some of these guys out in the open. So I move the Troll Slayer and the Beardling across this bridge, and my Thunder aims. One of my Thunderers aims to target one of his exposed Carnival guys and misses. And then I aim another one and managed to get him. He's on a bridge and he was completely in view. He wasn't able to hide. So I hit him, I wound him, and I knock him out of action, which is great. And my last Thunderer goes and takes a bead on one of his henchmen, another one of his henchmen, and hits him, but only knocks him down. So if you get knocked down, I guess you do an initiative check or something, and you can just get right back up. So it's not a lasting wound. So Carnival then starts again moving up, and you can see that he's just moving his guys, one by one or two by two, keeping as close as he can to these buildings and these obstacles, so I can't get a beat on him. Now that's slowing down his movement a little bit, but it is a smart move. Because if he stands out there in the open, I've got decent ballistic skills with two of my crossbowmen specifically that I can take him out. So when it comes back to me, I'm continuing to do my search. I've covered all the buildings on my side of the bridge. Now I'm in the center, and he's obviously moved into the center. So there isn't any other shooting because he's hit himself really well. So he starts moving into various buildings. Nobody's rolling double sixes. We rolled a bunch of 11s. He further moves up. Those dies that you see next to these the Carnival guys is denoting that he's hidden. And then it moves back to the Dwarves again. I've hit all of the center and left buildings. He's hit all of the back buildings and a couple of the middle buildings. And now I'm moving off to the left in the center. So he had a couple guys that were positioned there on that side, but now we're getting down to maybe 2 or 3 buildings with tokens left, and that means that we're going to find the treasure pretty quickly. So we move back to him. He starts moving. He starts realizing this, and all of his guys that were off to the right side and in the center start sweeping now, building the building, moving towards where the last couple buildings are with tokens. And he managed to get one guy on this tower, and that other building, that broken up building, are the last 2 that are remaining. And he just hides this guy there. He just wants to be able to, if I go and search this this pile of rubble here in this building and find that token, then he knows that that's where the treasure is, in that tower, and he can just climb up. So I have a crossbowman that was on the other side of the board now, and he's useless. He's well out of range. I don't have my engineer to increase his range. So I decide, you know what, I got to jump. I got to jump off. And of course, I fail my initiative test. He's not hurt, but he has to stop his move right there. And then I start sweeping, again, all the way off to the left, moving in on those last 2 buildings. I managed to get my Beardling and the Troll Slayer up to this bridge area here, and I'm just daring him to close in with me and try to charge me with some of the guys. Because he's moving building to building, and I still have 2 guys kind of set up in their sniper perches. It's slowing him down. He only has 1 more movement than I do, but that's enough that he could close after a couple of turns. But because he's got to go and stay within cover, it's affording me the ability to get further along. But one of these guys, he's right up, just north of this is where those 2 buildings are with the last 2 tokens. And I don't have any targets with this crossbowman. So I decide, you know what, I'm going to have to reposition him. I want to get him a little closer, maybe get him into the action. And if he does expose himself while he tries to close in with the rest of his troops, I might be able to catch one of them. So I move him down the ladder, and then he further sweeps along. And this is from the other side of the board. You could just see one of my Troll Slayers that have gotten across the bridge on the top of this picture. And he's, again, you see he's really well covered, trying to not expose himself to any of my crossbowmen. So, again, my crossbowmen managed to swoop around the side of this building. Well, swooping is not really a good way to describe it. You're dwarves, you don't move fast. But I figured, next turn, as I move the rest of my my warband up, if he does try to close in, I should be able to get a shot, because you can only move and fire with crossbows. And then I get the Beardling and the Troll Slayer, not within my charge range, maybe within his charge range, but closing in on that last guy. So I'm really going to force the action here. And then the guy that was, the Thunderer that was off to the far right that had a jump, he moves up, and then this is a couple of turns in as we're moving through this. And he managed to, as he was advancing with his warband in the middle of the board, I was able to get a shot off at the last guy that he had, and of course I missed. So his warband is now starting to close in on that final bridge towards the tower. And everyone's just starting to converge. You can see now we're really within range, where we're just starting, everything's starting to build to that final confrontation. And if I let him get too close with too many of his guys, he will swarm me. He has more bodies. But so I move into the one of the crossbowmen to the door of this tower, and next turn I can move up and claim not only the warp stone, not only search it, in which case I would determine that the last remaining token in that center is the treasure, and I have a guy sitting there right there to go and take advantage of that. But now I have a sniper on the roof, and nobody's going to be able to hide from him. So that was lucky and fortuitous. But on his turn, he charges his henchman into my beardling, which, you know, his henchman's got a little bit better stats, and I'm not really worried about this beardling. I'm going to have my Troll Slayer follow up if need be. But they, you know, there are no wounds exchanged there. And on his turn, he sends one of his henchmen into my noble. I'm fine with that. You know, I mean, I'm lower initiative. When you charge in this game, you automatically go first unless you're going up against somebody with a great weapon. But my noble is he's got light armor and a shield, which means he's got a 5 up. But he's also toughness 4, which is a big deal. And this guy's only strength 3, toughness 3. So his carnies now finally get to the bridge. They're now within range where I can actually start shooting at them, and they can actually start charging at me. So we're really going to get to combat very quickly. I claim the token in the bridge, so that last one on that rubble is definitely the treasure, and I claim that one, so I know I have the treasure. Now I got to get it off my board edge. So I'm not really concerned about what's going to happen in this combat. I want to get this guy off the board. So I charge in with the other Troll Slayer onto this Carney that's engaged with the Beardling. Nobody does any damage to anyone. And then my Noble knocks out of action the henchman that had charged him previously. And the rules are you have percentages, I guess. If you go to 25% of your warband, you got to roll to see if everybody routs, if they run away. So we roll, he routs, he rolls an 11. His entire warband then runs away, and the game ends, which is good for me because I didn't have to take the chance of now having to run this Beardling, this Troll Slayer off the board, in which case I clearly would have not been able to get there without getting into combat. It really was fortuitous for me, and that was a big deal. So I got the treasure. I managed to get a bunch of extra things that I just sold because I want to have enough coin to use in a future game if I can try to get my engineer back. I didn't roll well enough to get another engineer. So I'm still without my engineer, and I recruited another guy. So there you have it. That's the next game in this kind of loose campaign from Mordheim. Hope you enjoy it. Please feel free to like, comment, and of course subscribe. Got some more regular Warhammer Fantasy battle reports, some convert some more convert this conversions to post up, and of course I'll continue to run with some of these Mordheim campaigns. I'm really enjoying it. Hope you are as well. It's very interesting. Nice change of pace from Warhammer Fantasy, and I can paint some stuff up without having to worry about fielding an entire army to really kind of look really pretty decent on the board for a game. And it's just a different feel, and it's a lot of fun, and it's faster paced. So I like that the games kind of connect to each other with implications. And we'll see. We're going to have more people joining in. I think we have as many as 8 people, so there might be a lot of different types of armies that will be joining in. And I might even try and test out maybe an undead army, because I have so many undead models, and a lot of them are painted up too, and see how that works. Have a great day, everybody.